So let's talk about death by the middle. There are only two selling options with regard to price and position. Either you want to be the Rolls Royce or you want to be like Toyota. What you don't want in terms of what we do is kind of be stuck in the middle, death by the middle. The problem with middle is this: you are too expensive to be cheap, and you're too cheap to be expensive. Does that make sense? You're kind of like, you're not expensive, but you're not cheap either. You don't have the advantages of either one. You don't have the advantages of higher margins, and you don't have the advantages of high volume. It's death by the middle. But that's, to me, is not a sustainable strategy for me. I've chosen in my life, all these years in business, I'm not a Walmart. I've chosen that's not where I want to be. Like, I'm not interested in doing massive volume and all that. I'm just not interested. So if you have a sustainable price advantage like Walmart that don't mind handling huge volume, that's okay. Is it a possible model that you could pursue? Yes. I'm just saying, right? It's not a model that I want personally. Other people can pursue that model, good for them, not for me. It's not the model that I want. I want higher margins because higher margins equals less headaches, more room for growth. That's how we're able to generate the hundreds of millions of dollars with no outside investor. Understand this, right? This is how Seafood is able to grow, to build the empire with no debt, without a loan, with no outside investors. How? Because I have the margins to fund the growth. It's a customer-funded model, meaning I'm using the profits from the business to get more profits, to get more customers, to grow the business. So I don't need to give up equity. I don't need to raise money to grow what I do. Doesn't mean my tech company doesn't. We do. But that's a different play, because the play is an exit, right? It's higher valuation. That's a different thing. What's a good margin? The answer is as much as possible, as much as humanly possible. You push until you see a decline in sales, right? But even if you see a decline in sales, but yet you're making twice as much money, are you okay? Yes. It's like, hey, if tomorrow I'm going to double my price and I'm going to lose half my clients, what's the problem with that? If I double my price, I lose half the clients, now I have half less headaches, and I make the same amount of money. There's no problem with that. Until you get to a position where a point that, oh, I'm increasing my price so much, I'm not getting clients, they're not buying from me, like I'm losing the client too, then the numbers doesn't make sense. But as long as the number makes sense, you should keep pushing. And why, when I increase prices, I don't follow the typical norm, because the typical norm is, hey, maybe you should increase your price by 10%, right? Pretty normal, type 10%, 20% increase and stuff like that. I don't do that. I've never done that. In copywriting, back in the days when I was in my 20s, right, I was charging $500, $1,000, right? And then Alan told me, hey, you should increase your price. He kind of forced me outside of my comfort zone and said, hey, you should double your price. And I freaked out, I panicked, and I doubled it for $2,000 to $2,000. And then a few months later, I doubled my price again to $4,000. And a few months later, doubled my price again to $8,000, eventually $10,000. So I went from $1,000 to $10,000 in 1 year for a marketing campaign. That's 10 times, 1,000%. Well, no, you can't do that, says who? Who came up with that rule? You could do it as long as you have clients willing to pay for it. You can't do it if no one is willing to pay for it. You can't do any of it if no one is willing to pay. If someone is willing to pay, you can do it. So it's like, I wasn't, oh, well, maybe I charge 1,000, let me charge 10% more, and then another year, 10% more and 10% more. No, it's not true. And I'll go into the strategies. But for now, just understand, if you're Walmart, you're competing on price, lowest price always, that's okay. But I could tell you, for most of us, that is not a sustainable advantage, because there's always someone that could come in and charge less than you. You're on Fiverr. You're charging $5 for writing service, okay, which is sad, but let's just use it that way. You charge $5 on Fiverr and say, I'm going to write the article, the email for $5. Great. Now some moron comes in and, you know what? Screw you. I'm going to do $4.50. You're like, oh, you, I'm going to do $4 instead. And they said, oh, you back, I'm going to do $3.50. Who wins? Nobody. But whatever advantage that you have to get the clients at $5 in the first place, what happens? Someone comes in, right? It's just like, boom, they take you out instantly. Whatever advantage that you have, it is not sustainable because people can do that. As long as they have a little bit more capital, you are done. So big fish could come into your space because they could afford to lose money. We call it a loss leader. Write this down, a loss leader. That meaning they are willing to sell a product as a loss, just to take you out of the game. Big companies do that all the time. They go into a new industry or go into a new city, right? They know they're gonna lose money. They don't give a shit because they know as a small business owner, you will not survive. So they just need to lower the prices, get all the customers, even they're losing money, you will run out of cash and you're done. And then when you're done, they increase the price back up again because now they're the only game in town. Classic strategy. So it's like Walmart, they put small businesses out of business. That's exactly the strategies. They squeeze those businesses out. They also do things to the suppliers. Right? A friend of mine who used to have a cookie bakery place, Walmart got in touch with them. I mean, if Walmart calls you and say, hey, you know what, I want to buy a few million cookies from you, you'll be like, oh yeah, man, freak, I'm gonna be rich. Yeah, you thought, okay? So what happens? Walmart comes in, say, I'm gonna, small little business. We want to buy 4 million cookies from you, like $4 million. So imagine you're doing a few $100,000. Walmart saying, I'm gonna buy $4 million worth of cookie. For most people, wouldn't you be jumping upside and down like, oh my God, this is, like, we're gonna make it big, we're gonna grow the business, all that. Okay, great. Walmart gives you the order. Now, but in order to produce that many cookies, what are you gonna do? What do you need? You're gonna need equipment. Are you gonna need a bigger space to handle 10 times volume? You need a facility, you need more labor, you hire all these people. Now you're like, oh man, we signed a deal. You're in your new Mercedes, right? You're happy. Oh man, I'm growing my business, all of that, right? First year, right? Walmart gives you the business. You're like, awesome, man. Now you sign the lease, you hire the people, you have the equipment, you get loans from the bank because you think this thing is going to be good, right? Second year, okay, Walmart just look at you a little bit, okay, still give you a little bit of business, right? After a while, Walmart comes to you, back to you and say, you know what, the cookie that we're buying, I want you to give me the same amount of cookies, but I'm not going to give you 4 million, I'm going to give you 2 million. You're like, what? Yeah, you got to give us half off. You can't do that. Oh yeah, we could with Walmart. Or we walk. That means you go from 4 million to 0. How do you go from 4 million to 0? Because the little few $100,000, the small clients you have, you've completely neglected those people already. You have Walmart. So now Walmart is grabbing you by the balls. Right, ladies, excuse me, they're grabbing you by the balls, right? And Walmart is saying, hey, either you get 0 or you take the 2 million. And what do? They say, fine, right? It's better than going bankrupt. So they sell the cookies. That's how Walmart gets the margins. Walmart knows all the vendors and suppliers' margins. Why they're able to sell it for so cheap is unfortunate in some way, because consumers, we want lower and lower cost. Yes, we want lower cost. We want cheaper. So how do they provide that? The only way Walmart could provide that is first, they put small businesses out of business, so they have no competition. They're the only game in town, number one. Number two is they squeeze the margins out of the suppliers, meaning they go back and basically in some way threaten them after they've expanded. Walmart doesn't go to them and say, hey, you know what? Give me 50% discount, I want to buy 2 million. No, they want you to expand first, so you can't back out. You've signed a 10-year lease with a new facility. Either you go bankrupt or you do business with us, right? That's what Walmart does. And they keep the margin so thin. So they give you enough money that you are like making a little bit of money and you don't go out of business, but you never make a lot of money. All the profit margin now goes to Walmart. And why the Walmart, the Walton family, is one of the richest families in the world. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying that's the model. That's the only way. And quite frankly, it's not their fault. It's what consumers want. Consumers want lower price. Well, how could Walmart always keeps low prices? It's got to come out of somebody's pocket. If not the consumer's pocket, it's the vendor's pocket. It's the other small businesses' pocket. So death by the middle. Selling possibly fewer units to fewer people, but at a substantially higher prices, and more importantly, higher margins and better customers. I like that. Not the only way to do it. I'm just saying that's what I like. I like lots of margins, better people, and I'll go into why that's the case. So do you see why stuck in the middle is not so good? It doesn't just happen. Please write this down. It is a decision. It doesn't just, oh, I happen to sell at the upper market or I happen to sell in the lower market, because most business owners, it happens by accident. They kind of get pushed, right? Up here or there. No, it's a decision.